Do you think the Fed's independence is being compromised? And are you worried that there won't be a chair of the Fed when May 15th rolls around?
Listen, I think the financial services industry is pretty consistent on the independence of the Fed is critically important, not just here in the U.S., but in other parts of the country. And when you think about just the way our governing system works, it's different than a place like China where there's long-term management, long-term goals, high coordination across all the different areas of government. Here we have, a political infrastructure that turns over, which has points of views, and we have a more long-term structure in place at the Fed that has people from different walks of life, and the committee vote is extremely important. And so, creating the right kind of balance between fiscal and monetary policy to get to the best outcome, given the political environment we have, is extremely important. Now, I should say, by the way, just to get a little controversial, because this always comes down to well, what should the president be able to say and what should the president be able to do? There's no reason, in my mind, why the president shouldn't have a point of view. All presidents have for a long period of time. They've done it in different ways. This president does it very vocally in terms of what his points of views are. But even as it comes to, who he's choosing to nominate for the Fed, in this case, he's chosen someone who has a point of view on what's going on in the world, AI, what it's going to mean for jobs, what it's going to mean for productivity, and that's his point of view, and it's got to be approved by Congress. But this idea that there's total separation is just not true, but it is true when it gets to the actual decision making, and that's really important.
Well, let's say eventually the person nominated by the president will be confirmed. Do you think it'd be difficult for him to lower interest rates at this point, given where the economy is? Wouldn't you think it might be hard to do that, given where we are?
Yeah, I think right now there's pretty clear consensus that it would be the wrong thing to do. Until the Iran conflict is, in terms of, it's clear what the end is in sight, there's real risk out there. We don't know how significant it is. And I think as you hear voting committee members talk about it, there's a high degree of consistency, including, I think, from the Treasury Secretary, in terms of, waiting to see how this all plays out. And that seems like the prudent thing to do.